And now, working with arrays for non-Egyptian schools, level 1. Alright, before doing this practically, let's have a small introduction about working with arrays. To do this, at the beginning we need to know the difference between a variable and an array. A variable is a place to store a single piece of data. It can be has different data types as string values, integer, decimal, long, short, or double value for numbers, dates, Boolean operator. Each variable must has a name, and this name must be meaningful name to know the job of the variable, and also you cannot use a reserved word inside the VB.NET program. How to declare a variable? Now, using the word dim inside the Visual Basic, all of us know that the word dim means you are going to create a variable, then the variable name, the word as, and then assign the data type. Now, by this sentence of declaration means that you have a place inside your RAM, inside your computer, names number 1 contains the value of this number as an integer value. Alright, so why if you need 5 numbers? Alright, if you do this, you can add 5 dems, dem, for assigning these variables, alright, with different values. But instead of doing this, you're gonna use the array. An array means a set of values logically related to each other, have the same name to identify, and also have the same data type. Alright, like this. An array example for the temperatures, I'm going to have the temperatures for 5 days, or the name of the month of the year, like this. So this is an example of array. Array means that I'm going to give my computer a bulk of data working on it. Okay, now, as we mentioned during our sessions, that a variable means that you have a one apartment, a one place. But working with arrays means that you have a building with different flats to different values. Alright? Now, we need some way to access each element. You need to work with the elements inside the array. So, elements inside the array starts at 0 and then goes to the highest one. To select one of these elements to work on, you're going to call it through. Month 1 means February, month 2 means March, and so on. How to declare an array? Declaring an array means you're going to use the word dem, then the array name, and then the number of elements, and then assign the data type. So here is an example that I have an array called numbers with 5 elements. Yes, 4s mean that you're going to have 4 elements starting with 0. So I have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Another example, them temperatures 9 as decimal, or the month 11 as a string. Here's a small declaration for the array. Okay, the month 11 as a string, so I'm going to have 12 elements starting from number 0 till the 11th one, and here them numbers 2 as integer means I'm going to have 3 elements starting with number 0. This is a small introduction about declaring an array, working with arrays. Let's go to the practical section and open the VS program. Okay. Alright. A point to be noted, which is a very important point, dear all, that working with arrays always comes with lists, working with lists, and also loops. So I'm going to create a new project and then start our program here. It's Windows Form application. I'm going to name it my array. Okay, I'm going to browse to save it inside my working area. Here we go. Okay. Alright, here's our window we are going to work on. As we mentioned before, that working with vs.net, we have four main components. Number one, the toolbox, the box that you're going to use the main tools, the form, the platform that you're going to work on, the properties window, which has the main properties for each element, and the solution explorer. It's equivalent to a folder, contains all of our forms. Now, working with arrays, it's a must working with lists, so I'm going to add a list box here, and then I'm going to add a button. From the properties window, I'm going to name it view elements. Okay, now I need to declare my variable. To do this, I'm going to declare it here at the beginning of the form, because I need all of the buttons and all of the tools I use it inside my form to see my variables. So I'm going to say dim my array with the 5, okay, as, yes, integer. Alright, I already declared my variable. Now, for the view elements button, I'm going to add the value of each of these elements. So I'm going to say my array, yes, this one, for element 0 equal, let's say 3. I'm going to copy this and repeat it for 5 times. Here we go. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here I'm going to add 78. Okay, 96, 3, I'll go to let it like this, 24, 24, and 4. Okay, now I set the values of each element inside my array. I need to preview this inside my list. So we know that list box 1 dot items, yes, because each element inside my list box we call it item, dot add equal my array. But we said that the array always working with lists and also loop. So I need to preview all of these elements. So I need to do for I equal 0 to 5 my array I. Each of the 4 must end with next, like this. Alright, let's run this program and see what's going to be happened. View the elements. So we have our elements 3, 78, 96, 3, 24, and 4. So I previewed my element inside the list box. Okay, now let's move to step number 2. I want to have another button to count the summation of my elements. To do this, okay, what I have to do? Point number 1, I have to declare a variable called sum. So dim sum as integer. Okay, why am I doing this? Because I need to go with each element to count the number and add it to my summation. At the beginning I have number 3 in the sum inside my brain, and then I'm going to move to the second one. So to move to another element and then to another element to another element, so I need to declare a for loop. But the starting of this equals 0, then for I, okay, equal 0 to 5, okay, sum equal the previous summation I have inside my brain plus the newest value I'm going to find here. So it will be equal sum plus my array I okay. At the end of the loop, I need to present the summation values, so I'm going to present this in message box dot show to show for me that the sum of your array elements equal. I need this sentence to present as a string as it is, so you need to use double quote like this. And then I want to add the sum value related to my variable, so I need to use the AND to concatenate this string with the variable name. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, now view the elements, then sum. The sum of array elements equal 208. Let's check this together. Okay, I need to open the calculator to check this. Okay, 3 plus 78 plus 96 plus 3 plus 24 plus 4 equal 208. Exactly. Okay, great. Now, we need to know the maximum value inside my array. So I'm going to have a new button named max. And then inside this button, I'm going to declare another variable dim max as integer and assign the value of this to the first element at my array, because if I'm going to ask you to find the maximum number, so you're going to see number 3 and put it inside your brain as a maximum number. Then moving to the next value, is it greater than the number 3 that you have inside your brain? Yes, so replace the value 3 with the newest one, 78. Then I have now 78 inside my brain. Then compare it to the next element, 96, so I'm going to replace it. 3, no, I'm not going to replace this. Okay, 24, now replaced. 4, now replaced, though the maximum number is 96. Exactly that what I'm going to do here. I'm going to set the start value with my array 0, because this is the first element that I have, and then as usual I'm going to have the for loop for I equals 0 to 5. Then I need here to say if my array I, the value of I is greater than the maximum variable that I have, so switch replace means let the max value equal my array I. At the end, I need to present a message box showing the maximum values, so I'm going to say message box dot show to show here directly to show the max value. Let's see it together. View the element, and the maximum value is 96. Great. Now Let's have another button. Okay, I'm going to close this and resize my window because we're going to play with this. Okay, and now with this button, I need to sort the elements. Alright, I need to rearrange my elements and add it inside my list box. So first of all, I need to clear my list box 1 dot items dot clear. Okay, clear it from the values, and then array dot sort is already a predefined function inside the Visual Basic. To my array, sort the elements inside my array. Then for I equal 0 to 5, add the sorted items inside the list box again. So list box 1 the items the add for my array I. Let's test this together. Three, 4, 24, 78, and 96. Okay, great. Now, working with another idea. If I want to reverse the order of these elements, so I have the reverse order here. It's also a built-in function inside the Visual Basic, so I'm going to copy this code. It's exactly the same here. Okay, but here instead of using the sort, I'm going to use the reverse. Reverse function. Right, and add it to my array list. Let's see this. Okay, view the elements. 3, 78, 96, 3, 24, 4. So I'm going to reverse this. 4, 24, 3. Excellent. Great one. Alright, and now I'm going to have the latest button, which I wanted to use it to count a number of elements, exactly a specific number of elements inside my list. I'm going to move these buttons a little bit to add the count 1. Here we go. Okay, I need to count in specific. For example, the elements 3. Okay, so here we go. 1, then no, the second one. So I have 2 elements. So this is the way of how to count a number of elements inside your array. So here I'm going to work with this button. Exactly. So I'm going to declare a variable called count as integer. Okay, and then also the loop exactly for, okay, this initial value equals 0. Alright, now for the loop for I equal 0 to 5. Okay, then if my array element I equal 3, then add the variable for the count equal count plus 1. Then present a message box dot show with the value of the variable count. Let's see this. Okay, now view my elements, the summation of these elements, the maximum number, sort these elements, reverse these elements, count the value of the number 3, which is 2. Okay, now this is all that you need to know about using arrays inside the Visual Basic. Okay, now the summary of all of this: arrays always going with using list box and loop. To declare an array using the word them, the array name, and then the number of elements. This number counted plus 1 means if we're going to say that you have 5 elements, actually you have 6 elements, because starting with number 0 and then moving to the 5th one. Okay, then this here the data type. To assign a value of each element in your array, you're going to use my array and code with the values of each 0, 1, 2, 3, and go on, and give the values. To preview this inside your list, use the listbox.items.add to preview this. If you need to have the summation of this, you're going to create a variable called sum, and then going to each of the element inside your array using the for loop and add the value of the summation to your array element. If you want to count the maximum number, so going with the for loop for each element, and then if you find a value greater than the maximum, replace the value with the max. If you want to sort or reverse order the elements inside your array, you have a built-in function called sort to rearrange the elements inside your array, and reverse to reverse the order of your array. Finally, to count a specific value inside your array, you're going to create a variable called count, and then assign that if the value of the element equals 3, you need to add 1 to your count to count the values. Each of these must present the output with a message box.show. That's all about using the arrays and working practically with VB.NET. Thank you.